Good evening and welcome to TDM Talk Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Wilhelm. Our guest tonight is acclaimed filmmaker Tracy Choi, who launched herself into the international spotlight with her directorial debut feature film Sisterhood. Choi is a key shaper of Macau's film scene, directing, producing, editing, and assuming various other roles, pushing the local film scene forward and attracting the international eye to the SAR. Thank you for being on the show.
Hello.
It's a very difficult time for the world in general, and it's particularly difficult for artists and for filmmakers. Also given that film takes such a long time to produce. How are you handling that so far? I know that you're still pushing forwards with projects. You've had things in the pipeline for a long time.
Yeah.
But how are you getting through this?
I think it's true. It's a hard time for so many of us as filmmaker. I think not only in Macau, even in Hong Kong, mainland China, Taiwan, all over the world. I think a lot of projects stop or postpone. And so I think the last few months, everyone is like kind of stop in Macau, in this industry. And I got some friends, like they're already thinking of like, should we, find another job to survive? Because really there's nothing, not even video production is happening for last few months. I think, yeah, this period is really hard for everyone.
I mean, even so much so that some of the top officials in our government said you have to be ready to have to change jobs. People have to be ready to change into different occupations and learn new things. But I mean, the film industry is so diverse. There are so many different aspects to it, and you yourself have had so many different roles within it. Very talented, very able to adapt. Have you found that this has provided any opportunities in terms of maybe projects that you had on the side that you hadn't had time to work on before?
Yeah, sure. I think during this period also make me think of another thing, like, because since everyone is trapped in their house, so actually the online streaming thing or online platform, they need a lot of video, film, or TV series. So actually we kind of like, we can produce more. It's just how can we connect with those platforms? I think it's always been a problem with Macau production to how to link it out. I think before it's like, Macau film, how can Macau film sell to, worldwide theater? But now is another way to think of how can we sell the product to the international platform, like the online platform.
The Netflix, the Hulus, the
Yes.
Craves. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that within the industry side of things, are people gathering together? Are they trying to support each other? I know that in a lot of other industries, and particularly within the creative industries, because it's so hard normally to make money off of them anyway.
Yeah.
Have you found that the filmmakers within Macau and regionally are supporting each other?
Yeah, I think we gather sometimes to talk about the issue, and we trying to figure it out how to manage to get through with this period, and also actually we'll have some shared project with each other, like maybe we can have more people in different position in one video production or something like that. And I think people are supportive in this period and try to don't let everyone just change their job or change their career into different area.
It's really ironic because now more than ever when people are in lockdown, they need entertainment. Yeah. They need film, they need series, they need some form of being entertained. And so at the exact moment where we're probably seeing most of the films being watched that we've ever seen happen, we have probably the least amount of films being made. Do you think that this is going to then create a major demand for films to be made? Because let's say we have the drought, and then do you think that there's going to be not only films being made, but also people realizing the value of investing in entertainment once this is coming more to an end?
Yeah, we hope so. We definitely hope so, because now I think, like you said, because a lot of the production is stopped. I think like in the coming year or the at the end of this year, it will start like the content of that platform will be started to be a little bit intense, like something like that. So hopefully that we can then open a new way. I mean, the Macau production, because we never really search a way to sell the product, the Macau product. It's always a very, very hard time for Macau film to sell it out. But I think I see another way during this period is because it's different when you sell to theater and sell to online, because if you sell to like maybe if we want to screen in Hong Kong, then Hong Kong theater, I mean, then you maybe need some star or something, because if then don't have like Hong Kong star, then they might not buy the ticket, because they need to go out in the cinema, and so they will think that at least this ticket I need to worth it. So they have a lot of this kind of thing. But then in the online platform, I think the game is changing, because you see a lot like the TV series or the film in Netflix or other platform. They may not necessarily use star or film star or so, and also some kind of TV series is worldwide, like we will watch Spanish TV series.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know who are they, but we still will watch it. So it's more international in a way, I think. So we hope that it can, kind of changing the game here.
Now, a huge part of this, and what most people who watch films don't quite understand, is the whole financing side behind it. Because it takes a lot of money to make a good movie. I mean, anybody can grab their iPhone and run around and take shots, and I think that people generally have an impression that that can be a Hollywood movie. But it takes a lot of money to do that. And artists and filmmakers in particular are kind of in that one category of employee that isn't really, it's not always constant employment. It's not something that you can look at an industry and say, we will subsidize this industry like that so that they can get through the downturn. I know that the government is coming up with certain subsidy packages, and they're trying to help small businesses and things like that. Is there anything that's have you heard anything that's specifically directed towards film, towards supporting people in the industry?
Especially for film, I don't really think there's like a very clear way to support, but of course, like they always have the feature film funding, and already been passed three funding already happened, and I my first feature film got the first funding of the feature film, and I think they will continue this kind of funding, and also they have some funding support. Like if you already have some investment, then they will support you by the other fund. And I think this all are helping the industry. But we always is asking about, like I just said, it's not only because the film industry is not only you make the film, it's how to present to the audience. And of course, Macau Filmmaker had to also learn themselves, but since we are really baby step here, we would really like to, get some help from outside to, let our film can show to more audience, more international. Because if we just stuck in Macau because of the population and so on, it's never can get back the money. And if you can never get back the money, then nobody will invest your film or short film or TV series. Then will be always a problem, because we cannot just survive by the funding or the support. We should survive by the complete industrial complete investment thing.
So what if there is an avenue that would help get these films out there further? Is it not only through, let's say, the pitching sessions that they've had before, which I know there have been people coming down mostly from the mainland in order to be pitched to, and sometimes those films are then followed through with. What are some of the avenues that you think could help to get the Macau films out there?
I think there's because Macau is not like the area nearby. Like we are not like Hong Kong because they have so long industry, they like 100 years.
They're known for it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and because like I know that there's some funding in Hong Kong. It's also like known as the first feature film funding, something like that, and it really worked very successfully lately. But the point is because they have a lot of, how do you say, like they have a lot, old director, old producer, and famous star, and that kind of the group are willing to help the new director, new filmmaker to do that. But the point is, if you just, like the same thing put into Macau, even with the same amount of money, but now it's not the same because like they have like 5 million or 6 million for the first feature film. We only got 1.5 or 2 million. Even with the same amount of money, the outcome will be so different because we don't have the star, we don't have the old producer or director of film company to do the rest of the thing, like to do the distribution to the world, to send it to other festival and so on. So all the things after the production is missing. So it will make the things very complicated and will make the things like, I know that, recently some people will ask all the money, the government support in the film industry, but what is the result? But this is the point. The result is because we're missing the last part of it. So it's very hard for people can, push it more further.
Do you think that because we have these access to the streaming platforms that might be able to change now, let's say within the next 5 years or so, more than it would have in the past 5 years?
Yes, I think so. If we, can really get a way to connect with the international platform or other things, I think can be one way out to, no matter if the platform is to China or to, all around the world, if we got that connection, then I think the things can start to grow much more faster.
Now, you've been involved in the International Film Festival and Awards Macau, and won multiple awards there as well, not only for Sisterhood, but for Years of Macau. You were also a part of INA. What role do you think that is playing? Is that helping as a platform? Can it expand further? I mean, obviously, it's kind of a one-off event that brings a lot of attention to Macau. It brings people to Macau. We had Juliette Binoche here last year. We had Nicolas Cage here before. Is that really working as a platform for filmmakers? Are there certain areas that might be able to help more for the filmmakers?
I think like the film festival, like because Sisterhood is my first feature film and is in the first year of the film festival. And I think it's very lucky for me to join at the very first year. Honestly, in the first year, I think they are still sometimes trying to figure it out how to work or whatever. But actually it's after the screening in Macau, the premiere in Macau, they helped me a lot. They send the film to other festival and they suggest to other festival owner or also. So actually through that platform, Sisterhood go to a lot of different festival also because of that, and they keep an eye on that. So I know much more people because of this kind of thing, and and also I think like last year is the 4th of the festival, and we bring Years of Cow and Inner to them, and I think during this 4th year they also grow a little bit more, like they have the pitching section also, like for coming year is from last year's Max who pitched there, and then I think in coming June Max will, pitch in Cannes. Originally, he will need to fly there, but now because of the virus, he cannot fly. So I think they are trying to, make things like that to make the Macau film go out also, not only invite people here, but also make the Macau film outside Macau. But of course, this kind of thing, I don't think is okay to do just 1 year, 2 year, then can happen because it is a continued progress. And also, like for the film festival, is only the filmmaker already with the film sometimes can join. Of course, the pitching part is another thing, but mostly because you have the film, so you go there and then you show, and then they can bring your product to more places. But for like Macau, we are a startup. Usually we make a film already took 3 or 4 years to make the first film. So it depends, and I think it's still growing, the festival.
Just to let the audience members know, that's Max Bezmertny, who also had a film that recently debuted at the Cinematheque Passion as well. That was a handover.
Yes.
And one of the directors of one of the parts of Years of Macau.
Yes.
So speaking of film festivals, obviously we have this whole transition online. We have not only to focus on the local filmmakers, but I know that everybody's trying to reach out and they're trying to, in a way, take advantage of the lockdown situation and things like that. Cannes is basically kind of moving online. It's joining together with Sundance, Berlinale, Venice, Toronto, and they're doing the YouTube We Are One Global Film Festival. What do you think about that? I mean, there's such an, it seems to me as a viewer, there's such a huge part of watching a film is the collective experience of being there, especially if it's a film that's debuting. Being in the theater, seeing it with everyone, people clapping at the end, not clapping at the end, people crying, laughing together. Do you think that this is in any way detracting from the overall experience by having it online? Yeah,
I think because now the situation is like that, so I think it's the option is like they don't have a really other option, but for me, I really enjoy, like you said, enjoy the time that be in the theater to, watch together with the audience to see how they react, or they hate the film or they love the film. Because if everyone is just watching at home, of course it's also okay, but then you will miss out some part of connection. I think it's also important why the festival exists, is something like that, because in the festival, you will talk with each other after the film or at the party and so on. So I think all this thing is important. Yeah.
Where do you think that, aside from the online the part of it, maybe we'll see a crossover between the YouTube Film Festival and Zoom. So it'll be a YouTube Zoom Film Festival. We can all participate and throw virtual popcorn at each other.
Yeah, true.
But in terms of in terms of yourself, like you do a lot of different roles, and I know that you choose them very intuitively. You directed and edited Sisterhood. You've worked as a producer for many of the recent films. In terms of upcoming projects that you might be able to share with us, maybe some inside information you haven't told us yet.
The upcoming project of me, I think there's 2 upcoming projects, but both of them is as a director. I think after the 2 producer project like Years of Macau and Inner, I find out that it's something, because I wanted to separate when I do this two job, because I think if I'm a producer at that project, then I cannot be at the same time a director, because it's too distract. Because as the producer, you did a lot of the admin thing, and you need to worry about the money, blah blah blah, so on, and then you need to social with people to get the film to a certain place. So I think for me, when I work as a director, I hope that I can be just a director, to just focus on my work. But of course, sometimes you need to deal with something else. But at least if I am not the producer, then I can pass all the things not related to the creative thing, then I can pass it to other people. So it will be so much easier for me to work on. And like the coming project, there's one is a Hong Kong project actually. I worked on it, I think, 2 years before, did the research and everything, but like we supposedly to shoot like after the Chinese New Year.
Okay.
But then the virus and everything, and then so we delay and postpone, and we hope to finish it. We can start shooting at least, this year.
Okay.
In Hong Kong, and maybe part of it will shoot in Macau, but we're not sure yet. And yeah, this is the coming project, and the project is about teenage pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very simple topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, you really know how to pick the topics. Let's examine things in their entirety and the emotional appeal. It's
I think this
very
project
strong.
is very interesting because it's not like because Sisterhood is kind of because it's about Macau, it's about the city changing. Is very related to me, but the teenage pregnancy is the other way around. Yes, because there's a project there, and then the company, the Hong Kong film company, asked me if I'm interested in this project. And when I do the research and everything, I think, wow, it's very interesting to talk about this topic. So I joined the project. Yeah.
What's the other project? You mentioned 2 projects.
Yeah. The other project actually is a project with is also a Hong Kong company, but actually the project is with HBO Asia.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, they have some kind of like how do you say, TV series, but not like one episode, different episode is from different director, and also different area. Actually, it's also a topic of female. So they choose, I think, I don't know, 6 or 7 female director all over the world, like in Asia. Like one in Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, or I don't know exactly which area is that, but we got 6 or 7 female director, and each of us will direct one episode in local. Like my story is in Macau, and like 45 minutes for the episode. And the story is not related, it's just all the topic is about female in the location, in like female in Macau, something like that. Yeah.
Macau is really small in terms of at least its size, but there's an incredible history that comes behind it.
Yes.
And we've had such a quick acceleration recently. There's been the development, there's been all of the casinos coming in and pretty much taking over in terms of industries, which was something that was beneficial to Macau in many ways also. Do you think that because we had all of this diversity, we had all of these different stories being told, but do you think as we move forward and things we'll end up having the same stories? Do you think we'll have less stories than we had before?
I think no, for me, because I think there's a lot of stories still not yet told in Macau, because mainly maybe because we are baby stepping here. So outside Macau, also, like the Hollywood film, Hong Kong film, always come and shoot. But when you look at the film, Macau is always like a foreign place with
look at the James Bond
casino
movie, right?
thing, like very, it's not very local, and also it's not very realistic, actually. And I think the things happening in Macau now or before, the realistic one, not really, being shown so much, I think. So maybe I think there's still a lot of story that we can tell about, daily life, about everything. And also because the uniqueness of Macau then will be very interesting, like the people working in casino. I think outside Macau, they don't really know what is happening behind the scene of casino and everything. So something like that is not really being shown so much, I think. Yeah.
What about in terms of language? Do you think that the language of a film has a lot to do with the storytelling? Do you think that you would feel as comfortable having, let's say, 4 or 5 different languages within the film versus having 1 or 2? What kind of role does the language play within storytelling for you?
For me, I don't really mind with different language in the film. It's just happened to, I think it's because of the character mainly. For me, if he or she is speak Cantonese, then he or she should speak Cantonese in the film. But if his friend or her friend is a Portuguese, then he should speak Portuguese. So I think for me, is the language can be anything. And since we talk about the web streaming web platform, I think it also can work more. It's more working in this way because we got subtitle and everything, and we are more used to the subtitle because we will watch Spanish TV series, Germany TV series, so we cannot know what is it without the subtitles. So I think when people are used to the subtitle later on, because especially for the Western country, because I think in the Western country maybe they are not very used to subtitle before.
And many of the movies are dubbed also.
Yeah, so I think, but with the platform and so, I hope that it can change. Then maybe we can, keep the character to use their own language, so that it will be more natural to me. Yeah.
What do you find? I mean, you mentioned that the Hong Kong company had they had the script idea already. They came in, they talked to you about directing. What do you find about the people who are writing scripts within Macau? Do you think that there are? Is it necessarily? Does it always have to be a writer-director combination? Does a person have to, be the director already and then write the script, or do you see that there are people producing these scripts that have these ideas and they're making them?
For me, actually, I don't write, so I'm separate since Sisterhood. Like the project I said, the coming project also, actually they're not with the script, they're just with the idea.
The idea, okay.
But then I always like to work with the script writer from the very beginning, like the Sisterhood or also like this coming project. I think I like to discuss with the script writer together to form a way of the story, how it goes, or what is the main thing that I want to tell through the story, and then they go on to do the rest of the developing. And sometimes I think it's very interesting because I work with so many different script writers, mostly in Hong Kong, but I also work with some in Macau. And I think with different people, only for me, it's just, I think you can add up some ideas that originally I didn't thought of. Maybe I thought of one way, but since you 3 or 4 people more or just 2, then you can have so much more than the original idea. This is how I work and I also like to do the research with the scriptwriter together, because then we can, like the teenage pregnancy, we go together to see the teenage girl many times, like 15 or 16 or even younger, 14, 13, pregnant. So we talk to them and then we can together know more about them and then about the story. Yeah.
That makes complete sense. It's just truly building the story. Unfortunately, our time is coming to a close, but I wanted to ask you, in the vein of script writing, where obviously we have so many people internationally who are locked down, who are subject to home quarantine measures or hotel quarantines or so on and so forth, do you think that we're going to see a wave of movies that are only about pandemics and quarantines?
Yeah, I also think of that too, because like it's a very funny thing you bring it up because like my project just now talk about the TV series of the HBO Asia thing. Because when I talk with my script writer and then she asked me, should we put the situation in the story or not? Because then when after the production, maybe it's 1 year later, then should we now on the script we should put it, or because now it's very complicated. If you don't write the situation in, then it means the film, the time period is before or after. So we need to decide. So what is the role in the script? So I'm very curious also how many films will be, with this situation.
Yeah, it's true. We'll see. Hopefully there will always be a positive ending to the movies, right?
True.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. It's really great to get your insights into everything. We really look forward to seeing your upcoming projects.
Thank you.
That's all we have for this evening. Join us again next week for more TDM Talk Show. Good night.